Now you know. We're not here for the moment. We're here for the takeover.
New fans are sucking the f***ing life out of the WNBA right now. It's just the truth.
Caitlin Clark wasn't the only one putting in work this offseason. The Indiana Fever's marketing team is flexing just as hard. In the past week, the Fever launched their Now You Know campaign, and subtlety is nowhere to be found. This isn't just branding, it's a declaration of dominance. The Fever are done playing nice, done pretending they're not the main attraction in the WNBA. This campaign, it's a full-on, unapologetic pushback. A direct shot at the critics who spent the last year tearing down Caitlin Clark, minimizing her achievements, and mocking the fans who helped lift the league into the spotlight. The message is clear. Our road games sound like home games because our fans don't ask for permission to dominate. Is this the kind of energy you've been waiting for from the Fever? Let us know by commenting flex if you love this bold new attitude.
So the Fever in their game against the Minnesota Lynx was 1.219 million on Ion. On Ion! The follow game didn't even get half the ratings.
If you're an Indiana Fever fan, you get super excited about something like this. If you're not an Indiana Fever fan, if you're, say, a New York Liberty fan or a Las Vegas Aces fan, this riles you up even more. So when you are going to these games where they are playing against the Indiana Fever, you are going to be more excited, more just amped up to see this. There are more rivalries, and the competitive nature of these games are heightened because of little things like this.
It wasn't long ago that the Indiana Fever became the unexpected epicenter of the basketball world. Thanks to the whirlwind arrival of Caitlin Clark, they weren't just another team, they were the story. Suddenly, arenas were selling out, viewership numbers exploded, and opposing teams were scrambling to upgrade their venues, but often only when the Fever were rolling into town. Reports suggested they were single-handedly generating nearly half of the league's entire broadcast value, a staggering figure. Yet amidst this unprecedented surge, a strange undercurrent emerged. Criticisms flew, not just at Clark's game, but at the fans she brought in, dismissed as bandwagoners, not real WNBA supporters. Players took subtle and not-so-subtle shots online and in interviews. Media voices questioned the sustainability of the hype. Through it all, the Fever organization largely stayed quiet, absorbing the negativity, almost like a sleeping giant letting the jackals nip at its heels, seemingly unaware or unwilling to challenge the narrative.
I could see Sophie just coming in for a few minutes a game and, giving Caitlin Clark a rest or anybody else a rest, starting at the 1, migrating over to the 2, whatever. She seems to be able to do it, and she isn't looking bad while doing it. She's confident. She's hitting her targets cross court, and there is more footage showing her spotting up so she can still go over to the 2, to the 3, to the 4 even, spot up at the wing and knock down a 3.
But the Giant is awake now, and it's roaring. The silence officially ended with the launch of their Now You Know campaign. This wasn't some safe, focus-grouped marketing fluff designed to appease everyone. This was a declaration, a full-blown offensive assault delivered with the subtlety of a sledgehammer. It was bold, dripping with swagger, and unapologetically planting their flag at the center of the WNBA universe. Forget tiptoeing around the hype, they grabbed it, owned it, and dared anyone to question them. Lines like, "Our road games sound like home games because our fans don't ask for permission to dominate" weren't just clever taglines, they were direct shots across the bow of every other team and critic. It was a message broadcast loud and clear. We know we're the main event, you know we're the main event, and we're done pretending otherwise. The days of playing second fiddle were definitively over.
Our body to move quickly and our minds to slow down. Okay, that's part of putting us in situations where it's not going to be a structure, where there's going to be some chaos. It's up to you to start to find the calm in the chaos. We got to learn to find space in chaos so that we can put people in positions to be successful.
And remember all that noise about the new fans? The ones accused of sucking the life out of the WNBA or not understanding the league's history or culture? The Fever's campaign didn't just defend them, it celebrated them, empowering them directly. It told those fans their loudness, their passion, their sheer numbers, their difference was exactly what the team, and frankly the league, needed to reach new heights. It was a masterclass in flipping the script, reminiscent of how the Carolina Hurricanes hockey team brilliantly took the insult "bunch of jerks" hurled at them by a commentator and turned it into a rallying cry, a beloved identity that galvanized their fan base and sold mountains of merchandise. The Fever essentially told their fans, "You don't need anyone's approval to be here, to be loud, to spend your money, and to support this team." They even dropped merchandise proclaiming every game is a home game. A tour shirt proudly displaying their sold-out schedule, turning the very thing they were criticized for into a badge of defiant honor.
The veteran, WNBA legend, champion, all-star, multiple times, versatile player, can defend, has length, knows how to score, and brings leadership to the locker room. She's talked about wanting to be a voice that the other players listen to. Kelsey Mitchell said they got the best vet in the world. And then Caitlin Clark said they want to win for DeWanna Bonner.
But this newfound confidence wasn't just built on clever marketing slogans and fan empowerment through social media. Indiana spent the offseason making serious, calculated moves, ensuring the on-court product could convincingly back up the off-court swagger. They brought in Stephanie White, an elite head coach known for her intensity, tactical mind, and championship experience, signaling a clear shift towards structure, discipline, and accountability. Then came the crucial reinforcements. Sophie Cunningham arrived, a versatile guard often described aptly as a Swiss Army knife capable of shooting from deep, defending multiple positions, bringing infectious energy, and providing essential toughness wherever needed on the floor. Natasha Howard, a proven champion and formidable defensive force, was added to bolster their presence in the paint, swatting shots and anchoring the defense in a way they desperately needed last year. And they secured DeWanna Bonner, a respected WNBA legend and multiple-time All-Star, bringing invaluable veteran leadership, scoring prowess, length on defense, and a stabilizing, authoritative influence to the locker room. The message was clear, the hype surrounding Clark was real, but they were strategically building something sustainable, something deep, something truly dangerous.
Our road games sound like home games because our fans don't ask for permission to dominate.
The attention. Maybe I'll start with you, Kels, because Lord Jesus, your team and their fans,
Jesus,
they be getting up in everybody's business.
The rest of the league couldn't help but take notice whether they wanted to or not. The Fever's national broadcast schedule ballooned almost overnight, with nearly every single one of their games selected for a major network or streaming platform, an unprecedented level of exposure for one team. Opposing teams continued the trend of moving their home games against the Fever to larger NBA-sized arenas, implicitly acknowledging the unparalleled drawing power of Clark and this revitalized Indiana squad. This wasn't just about Indiana anymore. Their meteoric rise and dominant presence were forcing the entire league to adapt, to compete harder, to raise its collective game simply to keep pace. Whether other teams and their fans liked it or not, the Fever were rapidly becoming the ultimate measuring stick, the team everyone circled on their calendar, the one everyone desperately wanted to beat to prove their own legitimacy. This inevitably creates friction, yes, but it also crafts intense rivalries, compelling storylines, and the kind of competitive fire that genuinely grows a league and captures mainstream attention. They weren't asking to be liked. They were daring everyone else to try and stop them.
WNBA last season, I feel like the Indiana Fever last season were a team that just went to work, didn't say much, just let their on-court play speak for itself. Like, they were at the center of all of the drama within the WNBA. Like, everybody was coming after the Indiana Fever and coming after their fans, and they really just didn't say a word.
Of course, this aggressive posture and unapologetic assertion of dominance ruffled some feathers. You could almost hear the keyboards clacking from WNBA purists and certain media circles, the ones who champion a constant state of kumbaya, shared success, and downplaying individual stardom over overt, confident dominance. Too cocky, some muttered online. Not in the spirit of the league, others complained, longing for the days of quieter, more evenly distributed attention. But the Fever organization seemed utterly unbothered by the critiques, responding not with apologies or backtracking, but with more unapologetic content and the cold, hard facts of their impact. Their social media team went into overdrive, posting highlights with a newfound, almost ruthless edge, including famously a perfectly timed picture catching opponent JCS Sheldon getting her ankles decisively snapped by Clark during a game, a move dripping with what could only be described as god-tier trolling. When your team is pulling in viewership numbers consistently 2 or 3 times higher than almost every other matchup, selling out preseason games in mere minutes, and fundamentally transforming the league's financial trajectory and visibility, you earn the right to operate with supreme confidence. The sheer joy and engagement derived from that kind of unprecedented success tends to drown out the complaints from the sidelines.
Because the backlash was stupid. It was stupid. A bunch of crybabies, crybaby bullies, crybaby bullied their way around the Fever all last year when the Indiana Fever, specifically Caitlin Clark, is the best thing that's ever happened to women's basketball, the WNBA, and really women's sports in general. And anyone who says otherwise is out of their mind.
Crucially, this radical transformation wasn't just happening in marketing meetings or manifesting on social media feeds. The energy shift was palpable and visible on the practice court from day one of training camp. Early glimpses showed a team operating with a distinct new level of intensity, focus, and cohesion. Caitlin Clark was casually draining shots from near half court, looking like she hadn't missed a beat and was ready to elevate her game further. Natasha Howard was immediately establishing her presence as a vocal defensive anchor, directing traffic and challenging shots. But beyond the individual highlights that naturally draw attention, observers noted a tighter overall structure, clearer communication between players, and a palpable buy-in to Coach Stephanie White's demanding system. Players weren't looking lost on defense anymore. Rotations were crisper, more decisive. There was excited talk of a defined defensive philosophy. A miracle, some longtime fans joked, compared to the often disjointed efforts of the previous season. Teammates spoke glowingly about the calming yet demanding veteran presence of Dewana Bonner, with Kelsey Mitchell calling her the best vet in the world and Clark stating the team wanted to win for her. The off-season chatter about potential locker room friction caused by the intense spotlight, it evaporated almost instantly, replaced by images and credible reports of a team that looked genuinely united, energized by the challenge and seemingly having fun while embracing the immense pressure and expectations laid upon them.
So if you go to the team store, the Indiana Fever's team store, you will see that they have a brand new t-shirt that they are selling. And that t-shirt says, "Every game is a home game." And then on the back, it says, "Now you know," with a sold out banner with all of their basically schedule. It's like a tour t-shirt and it says, "Every game is a home game."
So where does this leave the Indiana Fever and the wider WNBA landscape as this new season unfolds? Have they truly ushered in a completely new era, fundamentally altering the league's dynamics, or is this bold, confrontational strategy destined to create an intense backlash that could destabilize things? The Fever have clearly decided that playing the underdog role or pretending to be just one of the teams sharing the spotlight is no longer an option, nor is it authentic to their current reality. They've fully embraced their role as the league's gravitational center, the team everyone loves, hates, or simply has to watch unfold. They've armed themselves with a potent mix of generational talent, savvy veteran leadership, improved coaching, and an unapologetic marketing machine that celebrates rather than downplays their unique position of power. They're not just knocking politely on the door of the WNBA elite anymore. They're kicking it down with force, announcing their arrival loud and clear, and daring anyone in their path to try and stop the inevitable takeover they envision.
It says here, some may think we've arrived because the world knows our game, but now you know, recognition alone was never the destination. This is the start of something unstoppable. JC Sheldon catching them strays. Our ambitions are bigger than the headlines and highlight reels.
The battle lines have been unmistakably drawn across the league. The Indiana Fever have put the entire WNBA on notice, consciously trading quiet compliance and feigned humility for a crown they and their massive fan base believe is rightfully theirs for the taking. Whether this high-stakes gamble results in the birth of a dominant dynasty that elevates the entire sport to unforeseen heights or ignites a firestorm of resistance and controversy remains the most compelling question in basketball right now. But one thing is absolutely undeniable as the spotlight burns brighter than ever. The days of ignoring the Indiana Fever or asking them to apologize for their success are definitively over. Do you think this bold, unapologetic strategy is exactly what the WNBA needed? Write Fever if you think they are going to take over WNBA. Everyone knows now.